I was invited to EZA by a friend of mine called Charity, who had been in the first cohort, and having seen the fruits of the cohort and the engagements, she invited me to come and join the upcoming class. So when I came to EZA, a bit of me was more or less like, what is it that I'm going to learn? I'm passionate about women, I'm passionate about growth among women, and I was like, I think I've done it all and all that. But because a friend invited me, I was like, okay, let me give it a try. Let me go and find out. Now, coming into EZA for me was such an experience, and like I've told you, it became a lifestyle. This is a journey that takes a woman onto realizing what womanhood is. For many of you that know me as a person who is passionate about gender equality. And many times we talk about gender equality from a perspective of it being probably a topic, being a policy, or a need out there. But I want to speak about gender equality from a perspective of it being a right, a human right. So when I came into EZA opened my mind to what gender equality is when it talks about a human right, because it talks about the true womanhood. Who are you as a woman? Who are you when you come out to say that I am a woman? And that's the journey that the EZA experience took me on. Looking at the journey of self-awareness, a discovery of what your identity is, and not just an identity that has been crafted by the society that we live in, by the people that we are interacting with, but an identity that comes from my Creator, an identity that comes from who God has called me to be and what He says I am. That is something that I got to even expound further in EZA. We were able to go through that identity that tells us that we've been called by God. We've been destined for influence. We have been called to serve. We are shaped for influence. We are shaped for fruitfulness, and that is what EZA was to me. So as a woman who was working with different women, and knowing that even as we go in, you can't go to be that other woman to other women until you have gotten to know who you are as an individual. That awareness, that discovery that comes from knowing I am enough, and I'm not going to be apologetic about who I am. I don't need to seek permission on doing certain things. I'll explore, I'll go out and be what God has called me to be. Was such an experience from EZA. It builds your confidence in getting to know what are my spaces, what am I gifted to do, what are my spiritual gifts, what am I passionate about, what are my abilities, going deeper to understand your personalities. If you don't know what your strength is, or if even you don't know what your weaknesses is, it's very hard to help women out there. As a person who is in the spaces of helping women, uncover themselves, unleash themselves, become better versions of themselves, it was very important for me to get to understand what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what can I leverage on. EZA helps you use your experiences for good. Many of us as women look at our experiences as a waste, but your experience is such a great tool if you're going to transform those that are out there. It's about living a selfless life, living a life of mission, a life of impact. So for me, it was a journey that has unleashed that potential. And if you're out there as a woman, seeking to get to know what is it that I can do, what is it that has been buried. If you're out there and you desire to redream, many of us have given up on dreaming, but you desire to redream, you want to live your purpose, this would be a journey that I would say it's worthwhile taking. Is your potential currently under lockdown? You need EZA, because EZA unlocks that potential that has been under lockdown and brings out the best version of who you are as a child of God, but most importantly, as a woman, and understanding what God has called you to be.